So you've really seen the industry from its earlier days. How would you say, what would you say is the most dramatic change that you've seen over your span of time here?
Um, I would say, for me, it's the change in the market research industry. I mean, uh, it's amazing today. You think back when I first joined, and um, you know, people needed information, once a month. If they did a study, you know, to get data back in 4 weeks was a good turnaround time. Information was obviously critically important then, but there didn't seem to be the premium on timing and the immediacy. And I think what the internet has done in terms of changing market research is it's brought this immediacy to the business, and to the point where people are expecting, they want information immediately, and they can get it from the internet, so they want to get it from market research companies as well. So I think it's really changed our business, and much of what we try to do is be in touch with consumers on a daily basis and various types of products and services that we have, because ultimately our clients are asking us questions every day that they want answered. They either want the answer right away or they want it tomorrow. And I think that's becoming more and more the norm across our industry, particularly in the media and entertainment space. So I think for me, that's the biggest change. Again, like media itself, it's being driven a lot by the advent of a lot of new technologies and services that are accelerating how people communicate.
Something that I've heard from talking to a lot of other established researchers is keeping the quality of research high. How are you able to do that when things need to be turned around so quickly?
Well, I think that was something that when I joined OTX was the biggest shock to me coming in. This was my first job on the supplier side, if you will. I spent my entire career prior to OTX on the client side, but our ability through the process that we developed from a sampling standpoint, which was to not just build a nationally representative online panel of 1 million people or so, but actually to go out and source as many communities and sites and reward sites, even managed panels, other companies, to bring in multiple sources of sample into our outer technology that we developed, so that we had access to 20, 30 million respondents very early on, and as a result we were able to fill surveys very quickly, even if they were highly targeted groups. And I used to joke that a lot of OTX's growth came from the fact that we could do surveys that no one else could do in a high quality way in a very quick period of time. And the movie studios sort of drove that model, because we would literally test TV spots on a Friday night, and we would have a full report to them Monday morning. So it was a necessity for the industry that we started in to do that. But it is very an important thing, and to still maintain quality while you're moving at very high speed, and particularly from a quality control standpoint. So it took a whole new way of thinking and a whole new process and how we organized our business in order to do this. But it's worked pretty well so far.
So you had mentioned in the very early days of this new century, there was the perception that video would not be necessarily viewed on computers. Where do you see media consumption in general going over the next 5 years?
I think it goes wherever the technology goes. I mean, that's if we've learned anything in the last 3 to 5 years, I think that's what we've learned. And that's where market research is tricky, because again, all the research studies that people did back in '97, '98, when the internet was just becoming a mass market sort of medium, was that nobody's, why would I watch a TV show on my PC screen when I have a perfectly good television screen to watch it on? But they didn't see the potential of this being able to add more screens in the home, and new rooms where there weren't TVs, but also the mobility of it, that now people have new occasions to watch media and consume media that before they didn't have. And now you've got TV screens going into cars, and you've got live, full motion video billboards all over Los Angeles and expanding into the market. So I think it's going where the technology is going, and I think people will still say, to some degree, well, I'm not necessarily going to watch, I don't want to watch a full-length movie on my phone. But you know what? If you're somewhere and you're stuck for 2 hours and you've got your phone and you can watch a movie and you want to be entertained because you've got some downtime, you will. So it's really a function of the occasion and the situation. And So it's hard to, when you ask, it's like what Henry Ford said, if you ask people what they wanted, they would have asked for a faster horse, right? So if you ask people what they want, they don't really know what they want until it's put in front of them. So, and that's where you have to be careful with market research and just asking people what they want, because a lot of people just don't have the vision to know that they're going to want something down the road when it happens.
So are there techniques that you use to ascertain what people may really want when it's in front of them rather than what they're saying?
There are. I think, it's trying to get it, rather than asking specifically about the particular behavior, it's more about understanding, again, what their behaviors are. Do they spend a lot of time out of home? Do they love television? So if they get a mobile device, we know, well, if you build it, they will come in this case, because they are heavy consumers of content, and they're going to ultimately want to keep consuming it wherever they go. So there are ways to look at other information to determine, what, this is this particular respondent is a good, choice for somebody who's probably going to adopt new technology based on what we've seen from previous behavior and from their current behavior. So and I think that's one of the things now too, more and more we see, is being able to integrate behavioral information with survey-based research. So asking people the question and then actually seeing their behavior on top of that, and being able to link up, okay, what happened, why didn't they necessarily do what they say they were going to do? We can learn from that, maybe calibrate or account for it, look for other ways to understand why it happens, and then sort of correct as we go along.